Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Den of the Bullfox and Howling into the Void. So, tonight, we're going to be doing a little bit of a double dip. We're going to be getting to know Rasclin and perhaps Nightkind if she drops by. And we will also be seeing if we can survive the madness inducing original handbook of the infamous game F.A.T.A.L. And by original, we mean that we did not skimp and find the From Another Time, Another Land version. No, we found the Fantasy Adventures to Adult Lechery version, which has a lot more, interesting flavor text, shall we say. So, with that said, let's find out how everybody's week has been, and let's get this started. Rask, are you here?
I am indeed here. I am going to be poking a few people to make sure they get in here to share the wonderful, wonderful suffering with us.
Yes, like the elder gods of old, we must share the suffering. How's your
It's
week been?
true. It was. Hey, it has been very much a deadlines, now kind of week. And you?
It's been a very much depression and dealing with that shit and dealing with a very boring, very not well thought out function tonight.
I remember you were telling me you were listening or watching a certain something on TV tonight.
Oh, what was that?
Something where you said the speeches shouldn't be like that.
Oh, no. That was the function I was at. So in my neck of the woods, we have the Germana Foundation, which also splits off into Germana Community College. And it's to celebrate the history and architectural significance of the first German settlers in Virginia, and by extension, in America. So, the problem being that a lot of the time it's just wannabe rich folk trying to one up each other with bloodlines. I swear to God, I have actually sat there in a room and listened to people going, "Oh well, you see, we're descendants of the second colony, so we're much more directly related than you and your fourth colony bloodline." To which I have to laugh because I'm a descendant of the first colony and the direct first township. So I'm just like, okay, you can play that game, I can one up you. I'm not that petty. But tonight was our banquet dinner, and one thing that really annoys me is that when any nonprofit organization hosts a benefit dinner and silent auction, and then the first thing they do when they start the ceremony is open it up with, "Hello, welcome, this is our board of directors. By the way, give us money, we're poor, needy, give, money. And not only did they do that, but she actually said in the speech, trying to be tongue in cheek, "We're not even trying to be subtle. We put giant QR codes on your table so that you know that you can donate to us." That was.
Mankind learn the glory that is working non-profits. And I will admit, we sometimes get shamelessly,
Oh, yeah.
when
I
we're
was the kitchen
left.
manager for a homeless shelter. I know how bad it can get. I had to do damage control for volunteers a lot because a lot of the volunteer groups that I would secure for them were churches and such, and then of course they'd come in to make meals and such because that's my job as kitchen manager is to get them to do that. And then immediately our heads of other departments would show up. It would be like, "Oh, thank you for the meal. By the way, if you'd like to make a generous donation," I'm like, "This is not how you do this." You
They
need to,
just make it more and more awkward.
it was like you need to butter them up. Let them come in a couple times. Let them actually like the place. See it naturally.
And not make them think, hey, if I just don't show up, they won't bug me for cash.
Which would also be what you were thinking, except no. Because in order to come into the shelter, you have to sign in with your email address and phone number. which they then use to bug you for donations.
Wow.
Yeah, but no, so after that awkward bit of the speech, the other thing was that they weren't using the sound system of the actual venue. Because it was
Wait, did they just bring in some amps and speakers? What happened here?
not even that. So apparently, with the last president of the foundation, who was a resident, they would allow him to use the venue's sound system because this was taking place in a gated community in their clubhouse. And like I said, this is the wannabe rich community, so it's a very large clubhouse. It does have a good sound system. But they decided that the easier and cheaper option would be to bring in a karaoke machine and use its microphone.
What?
There are three problems with this plan. One, it does not integrate with the actual sound system, meaning that the smooth jazz that they insisted on playing was constantly drowning out the people. Two, the people didn't know how to project in the first place, so they're speaking in these very soft voices like this, and they're trying to get across a 30-foot room. No one across a 30-foot room can hear you when you are whispering. And then three, it's not an omnidirectional microphone. It is a straight-on condenser microphone. And they are trying to talk at it from the side. I'm just like, that's not how this microphone works. You have to be direct head-on with that thing. So in short, the streamer in me is screaming as they are trying this.
Rightfully so.
I was like, can I just go up and teach them, please? And my sister brought a hard cider and realized she didn't want it, so she answered me. I'm like, no, this is not enough. This is not enough to get me out of this situation. Oh, let's see. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, I have the stream notes for the episode on Fatal that we were planning on doing. But let me pull up the actual. There's the PDF.
I'm thoroughly logging out of FF14. There's there's no avoiding this forever. Nike, let that keep you sane in this dark time.
Yeah, pretty much, huh?
Hello, Nightkind.
Side note, automatically, as a person who works in printing, I'm looking at this PDF and saying, oh no. Oh no.
You know what? It's not just Nightkind. I want gamers to join us, but I know he's not listening.
You, my soul. But, okay. I read how we begin this horrible thing, paraphrasing to make it less pompous.
Oh, what do we start? Where are we starting?
There are 5 core abilities, each with 4 sub-abilities. So to determine the character's abilities, you begin by calculating.
Oh, I gotta close things again because we're cutting out.
I.e. rolling separately for 20 sub.
You know where I think we should start?
So yeah.
I think we should honestly start.
I can come up with random. I will come up with 20 random numbers because none of this makes sense. Because at the end of the day, it's just okay. You're rolling 4d100, dividing the sum by 2, and subtracting 1 from the result. This is an answer basically of 2d100 minus 1 because you're
well, we're getting
1 through
ourselves.
199. Yeah.
So I think in order to properly give everyone a correct introduction, we need to start by reading the entirety of page
Sorry,
1.
you cut out there.
Oh, of course I do. Give me a second. Keep talking. Let me see if opening it up in something other than
You are cutting out
yeah.
a lot. I may be too. I don't know.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, I just hear Caden
Yeah,
cutting out.
same.
Okay, if I go into straight Discord, does that help?
Yes, I think that's helping a lot right there.
Okay, so
I
let
don't know how
me.
much of this is the distance. I mean, we're in 3 different time zones here.
I don't think it's the distance. I think it's just my computer trying to run everything because I've got I had Edge and Opera open to monitor the stream, and because my Windows has decided it wants to erase all of my preferred programs and just go back to defaults. So it opened the PDF in Edge.
Wow.
Yeah. But like I was saying, is I think what we need to do is we need to start at the beginning. And to give people a proper introduction, we need to start with the first page and just read it in its entirety.
Okay.
So would you like to take the first paragraph or the second paragraph?
I'll go ahead and start the first.
All right.
I'm radio guy, so let me set a tone.
Well, I'm sarcastic.
Then Night Gun,
So
do you want to pick the third?
What about nighttime?
would you like to? If do
You
you
take
have a
the third
copy
paragraph?
of
Paragraph of what?
Oh crap, we forgot to send you the PDF.
I was about to say, do you have
Thanks.
the PDF we're reading off of?
I will send I will send you this PDF right now.
Well, it was sent in the Skulk channel, so it should still be there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right there. We are reading off this one. Let me reply to it.
Fantasy? No, that was last time.
Yep.
That was okay.
That's the one from last time.
That's
From
the PDF
another-
we're reading. From Another Time, Another Land is edition 2 of this game, and that is the
Okay.
watered down version.
Yeah, we're going with the much, much worse version that came first.
See, I'm trying to download it.
Aye.
Trying. I
You've
am
got
downloading
you've got time. I'll go ahead and start that first paragraph.
And I will take the first header.
Welcome to a fantasy medieval role-playing game that focuses on realism and detail whenever possible without sacrificing fun. Despite the focus on realism, several tenets of fantasy are assumed. In the world of this game, magic exists as well as spellcasters, such as mages, witches, and druids. Second, fantastic creatures roam the world, including kobolds and dragons, among others. Finally, hundreds of deities exist, and moreover these gods are concerned with their worshippers, the state of the world, and their own deific interests. Aside from the basic assumptions of fantasy, realism is sought in every other respect and applied to these fantastic tenets, as well as the gaming world and role-playing system.
So that seems like a fairly solid intro, right? Like, that's almost D&D-ish.
It's kind of bland and generic in its own way, but yeah, it
It's solid.
It sets up reasonable expectations for an RPG in a fantasy setting.
Exactly. Now, like, the first thing that jumps out to me, the thing that sends my red flags up, is the moment it said, this is a fantasy role-playing game that strives to focus on realism. That's my first.
Well, then why is it fantasy?
Exactly. Like that's my first red flag every time. It's like, wait a minute, why are we talking about realism? But it's the second paragraph, it's the first header that really drives home how stupid these guys think you are. Now, to give you context for anyone who doesn't know about F.A.T.A.L, this was released as a physical copy. The physical copy has 901 pages. This is not a small book. This is a tome. And it also retailed for about the same as the D&D book. So, I don't know about you, but if I'm going into a game shop and I'm a beginner player, I'm not looking at the 901 page book and buying that for $70 when I don't know what is a role playing game. But that is our first header, so let's get into this.
Now, the year this came out was what, 2002?
Yes, 2000, and it was copyrighted. I use that word loosely because I doubt they actually got a copyright. It was copyrighted from 2000 to 2003.
Okay.
So, our first header, what is a role-playing game? A role-playing game is a game in which the participants make decisions as though they were a certain character. The decisions a player may make are incredibly diverse compared to other games. For instance, assume you are an adventuring knight who has just fought his way to the top of a dark tower, where you find a comely young maiden chained to the wall. What would you do? Some may choose to simply free the whimpering wench. Others may free her while hoping to win her heart. Instead of seeking affection, some may talk to her to see if they can collect a reward for her safe return. Then again, others may be more interested in negotiating freedom for fellatio. Some may think she has no room to bargain and take their fleshly pleasures by force. And still others would rather kill her, dismember her young cadaver, and feast on her warm innards. As you can see, the number of decisions one could make with one simple situation can quickly become overwhelming. Typically, this is the attraction of role-playing games. No other game allows you so much individual choice, and consequently, so much fun. Events in the game do not occur merely by the will of the player, however. Instead, decisions and outcomes are mediated by odds and rolls of the dice. Hence, this book is full of rules and guidelines based on odds. Do not let the sheer volume of information be intimidating. As a player, you will not need to memorize it, though familiarity helps. The best definition is that a role-playing game is a game that allows players to utilize their full potential for imagination and enjoyment within a controlled setting.
If we may say one thing here,
Say many things, please.
thank fuck this was not the year of the Satanic Panic. Because fuck!
This would have instantly proven everything about the Satanic Panic right.
Nightkind, your thoughts? I cringe. Do you cringe? I cringe.
This is pretty cringe. This is holy moly. This is wow. This is just
So remember,
damn son.
Huh?
This was 2000 when this came out, so we would just call these people desperate. But nowadays, this is full-on incel. If anybody asks you what an incel or a neckbeard is, just give them this fucking manual.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't know about you. I've played some really twisted games. I've played
There are
some
reasons I don't
erotic
bring this to my
games.
T&D group.
Yeah, I mean, we've played some really weird games. I cannot recall any game in which my first reaction to finding a woman chained up in a tower is,
We've all
should
gone
probably
quiet, I
kill
see.
her. Have we all gone quiet?
Or the internet has bugged out again. I can't tell.
I think, and this is just my personal opinion, which doesn't mean shit, this has tones of Anne Rampling with D&D mixed in. Are you asking who is Anne Rampling? She
Somewhat.
is the student. You don't know who Anne Rampling is?
It sounds familiar, but I can't place it right at the moment.
It's the pseudonym of Anne Rice. Do you not know who Anne Rice is?
Oh, I know
She is
who
the
Anne
author.
Rice is.
Okay. So Anne Rampling is her name for when she writes erotica. And I may or may not have some of her in my library.
I may or may not be looking at Interview with the Vampire Lestat, Taltos.
But yeah, from reading this right now, and rambling mixed with D&D. The erotic, and you got to have the nerdy D&D in there. Well, okay, coming from a nerd, I'm a nerd. So this is just my opinion on it. This is what I hear. This is what I see.
So just a quick side note, I'm going to mention that I do have a apparent unique relationship with Anne Rice, shall we say? It has happened more than once now. I think it's happened like twice, maybe 3 times, that somebody has presented me with an Anne Rice book to borrow, and then within 3 months they stopped talking to me altogether.
Because you didn't return the book?
No, they something happens and they just decide they don't want to talk to me ever again. In fact, my ex, my last ex, she was the one who let me borrow Queen of the Damned, The Vampire Armand, and Interview with the Vampire. Then she broke up with me and hasn't spoken to me since. I still have the books, but I have no way of returning them. That's how I got the Vampire Lestat, is that a friend of mine let me borrow it, then 3 months later stopped talking to me entirely. So I'm just going to take it that if anybody presents me with an Anne Rice novel, I'm just going to like do damage control, be like, are we good? Have I offended you somehow?
Right?
Okay, so let's see. Where are we now? Oh, here we go. This is yours, the necessary gaming materials.
Okay, just for the record, too, is that when all y'all are reading your bits, they are not matching what is written, what I downloaded. So.
Which
you must have the
manual
new
are
version.
you reading?
F.A.T.A.L, From Another Time, Another Land.
We are reading Fantasy Adventure to Adult Lechery.
Okay, should I...
Actually, this could be interesting. What does yours say? Because I have not pulled these up side by side yet.
Okay, let me fix what I just did. Okay, here we go. Oh, phooey. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, tell me again what you wanted for me to read.
Well, like, when you say it doesn't match up, what's the most obvious ones that don't match?
Okay, where did it go? I think because, like, because there was like a whole paragraph that was just, well, no, there was this like a few paragraphs that were like totally skipped. And Caden, when you were reading off, here it is, like, for instance, assume you are an adventuring knight who has just fought his way to the top of a dark tower. That was totally, it wasn't totally, it was kind of different from what I have in front of me. Yeah, there was just, and when Rasclin was reading off some stuff, it was just different from what I have in front of me. So, I can read off what I have. It's not going to match what you have, but I think it's just going to carry the same thread. What do you think?
Shoot.
Yeah, go ahead, read it off, and we'll see how close they match.
Okay, so right now we are at, the next thing that is coming up for me is necessary gaming materials.
Yep, that would be correct.
Okay, so I will read off until what, terminology or math?
I'd say terminology.
I would honestly, yeah, just read off until terminology.
Okay, so necessary gaming materials. To play this game, some materials are necessary. It is convenient to have a separate copy of this book for each player. It will be used often. Next, a set of gaming dice is necessary, which may be purchased at most hobby stores and some bookstores. Sets of gaming dice usually include one 4-sided, one 6-sided, and one 8-sided, two 10-sided or percentile dice, one 12-sided, and one 20-sided die. Another book entitled, see that? Navaria will be very useful. and necessary if anyone plays a priest as a character. Further, numerous pencils, numerous pencils, erasers, scratch paper, and graph paper are handy. I find that incredibly humorous. Miniatures are available from several companies for purchase and are useful for combat situations, though they are not required for play. Any coin could be used instead to represent a character. A gaming mat that is drawn and is used on which to place the miniatures. Calculators, well, gaming participants, typically 4 to 8 players is best, and also obvious. Here's a review. Numerous copies of this book. Gaming dice, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and a D20. Character generator program. Bavaria Fantasy World. Pencils, erasers, scratch paper, and graph paper. 25mm miniatures or small markers such as coins, gaming mat, one-inch grid calculator, and players. So that's just basically putting into bullet points what they already covered in necessary gaming materials. So that leaves us at terminology.
So
one thing I noticed.
Hmm.
Well, okay. Nikon, in your version, in the larger paragraph, did say another book entitled Grimoirium Genitoris come up? Because it sounded different on ours.
It did not. Here's the reason. Again,
Yes.
we are reading from version 1, which is Fantasy Adventure to Adult Lechery, which requires 3 more books and a different world. So,
Yes.
Fantasy Adventure to Adult Lechery requires the Nevaria fantasy world. Or no, sorry, that's from Another Time, Another Land. Fantasy Adventure to Adult Lechery requires the Grimoirium Genitoris, or Grimoire of the Gods, Grimoirium Monstrum, which is the Grimoire of Monsters, Grimoirium Vita Futura, the Grimoire of the Next World, and the Thenvaria, or no, the Talitaria fantasy setting.
So evidently I have...
You have the second version open, and that's what I was saying, is it'd be interesting to see how different these books are from one another.
Yeah, because this was, well, it's copyrighted in 2004, which...
Yeah, ours are from 2000 to 2003.
Okay. So yeah, that's the copy I have.
Okay, so Rask, would you like to do terminology, or would you like to do math?
I'll go ahead and do terminology.
Okay.
Some terms used throughout the game need to be understood. When a die is to be rolled, the type of the die, how many sides it has, usually appears after a D, designating the die. For instance, D12 indicates that one 12-sided die is to be rolled. If a number appears before it, such as 3D12, then 3 12-sided dice are to be rolled and the numbers added together, which this example produces a range from 3 to 36. Okay, speaking as an editor, this is clumsy as fuck. Finally, a number may follow as a modifier, such as 3d12 plus 2, which means that the 3 12-sided dice are rolled and added together as before, but now 2 is added to the sum. This particular example produces a range from 5 to 38. Additionally, D percentage, or D100, indicates that 2 10-sided dice are to be rolled, but the results are not added together. Instead, one die, which is announced beforehand, is interpreted as the tens position and the other as the ones position. So if 2 10-sided dice were rolled, resulting in a 6 and a 9, of course he picks that number, and the die that resulted with a 6 was announced as the tens position, then the results would be interpreted as 69.
Altogether,
Bill
now.
and Ted, please
Nice.
crash down on him. Please, please now. The timing would be grandiose and ironic and just. If the results are a 10 and a 10, probably a 0 and a 0 on the dice, then this is interpreted as 100. Finally, a D1000 is possible, which simply requires 3 10-sided dice, with the third die being interpreted as the hundreds position.
Now, I wanted to get through that section because honestly, if we could read this entire book, even though we're not monetized, we would get stricken down for copyright. Even though these guys don't exist anymore. But I wanted to get through that section because that last little bit is what makes character creation such a bitch. We have to roll a theoretical D1000 for every stat.
Well, no, it's in this thing. It is roll 4d100, divide by 2, and minus 1. So that's not a d1000. It would technically be a d200, more like a d199.
Well, remember they're saying we're using the tens and counting each one as a different tens, hundreds.
Right.
So
Wait,
that
did I
would
read
be,
that wrong?
if it's 4d10 and we're counting all of them, that is technically, by their math, that would be a d10,000.
All right, let's get through this and get to chapter 1 abilities, because that gives you your opening rolls. So
Right, because we don't need to go through math and rolls, because honestly, if you play D&D, you should know this shit.
if you don't know D&D, don't worry. I will present something a little different maybe the next time.
Yeah.
We might just do a quick recap of some versions of D&D, probably 5th edition, right?
Probably, because it's simplest.
Yeah. Okay,
Now,
who's reading next?
we do have the creating a character, but I want to skip ahead just one. I'll read this one. Because this is the part that gets them into so much shit. Right after character creation, we get the heading Warning, which reads, and I am quoting, "This role-playing game is not intended for children due to violent and sexual content. It is entirely possible to play this game without a character entering a single combat or sexual situation, though information and tables for sex and violence are provided so that it may be used or dismissed as deemed appropriate by each gaming group. The information in this game does not represent the worldviews of F.A.T.A.L games, nor is extreme violence or extreme sex condoned by F.A.T.A.L games. Instead, the information is included for comprehensiveness. For instance, the details of violence may exceed that of other role-playing games, as crucial damage may explicitly explore the destruction of many body parts and internal organs. Similarly, characteristics of genitalia are often determined and utilized, such as penis size or maximum vaginal circumference. Further, role-playing situations that accurately represent mythology are likely at some point to include rape, molestation, encounters in brothels, or possibly situations that deviate more from social norms. While the objective of the game is not intended to be any of these in their own right, sex and violence may reasonably occur depending on the circumstances and have been detailed in gaming terms herein. Therefore, F.A.T.A.L Games advises minors not to participate in this game and suggests that the players and main master discuss the appropriateness and degree of sex and violence for their gaming group." So there's no way to make that YouTube friendly. That entire thing, had I been monetized, would have just gotten us taken down. But basically, that is the we're trying to cover our asses and don't actually know what any of these words mean.
You know who I really want to read this book aloud, like a story time?
Besides LeVar Burton?
Tom Hanks.
Oh, Tom Hanks would be amazing.
He's made us suffer through mazes and monsters. He can deal with this.
I want him to do it as Pardue.
Ooh.
I am Pardue, a holy man. By reading this book, I have decided there is no God. Okay.
Remember, kids, a soundtrack came out with this book.
Yes, in fact, as I said, me and Rasclin have spoken. We were going to just do character creation tonight because we decided doing a stream on F.A.T.A.L would not do it justice. There are videos on F.A.T.A.L out there, but we wanted to give our perspective. And especially as, Rask has done many a gaming things, and I'm a writer.
And I'm an editor.
We just wanted to tear this apart. So we are going to be trying to script and create a pre-scripted, pre-recorded video. I have downloaded the snippet from Wikipedia of the F.A.T.A.L theme song. Yes, you heard me correctly. This game has a theme song.
It does. Oh. Why did this game get a theme song and Dark Sun, Planescape, and Dragonlance went bereft? Well, okay, no. Dragonlance eventually got a theme song. Go, moving on.
Yes, look forward to that video. And by the way, this is, as I was saying to Rask, this is the time where I would like to plug the fact that, hey, look in the description below, and not only do we have the link to join our Discord if you would like to join us and hang out, discuss, create a community, but also we have a handy-dandy, shiny new Patreon link, which will help us create that video without having to worry about monetizing or ad revenue. Shameless plug over.
I'm so glad I work in non-profit radio.
Yes. So, now, can we skip down to Appendix 1, character sheets?
Here we go. Please note that the author has been foolish enough to put a photo of himself in the back of the book.
Not just himself, but also his co-author. In fact, every photo that is not a woman in this book is one of the authors.
Great.
So
yeah,
I'm going to start reading off this character sheet, and I would like to point out, I went to check how hard this would be to print. If you were to print this character sheet in its entirety, in just standard page, it is a 9-page long character sheet.
Okay, so for instance, I'm looking at when you say character sheet. So I have chapter 1, race and gender. And then it goes on to give Anakin trait and everything that you have to roll. Page 2, page 3. Is this what you guys are talking about?
In our copy, the character sheet itself is under Appendix 1.
Yeah, I don't have...
Okay. Appendix 1 starts about 100 pages before the end. My gods, why is this an appendix?
Don't worry about it.
It's just as useless as a human appendix.
I was going to say, just to get a feel, because I don't have a stream deck. For those of you who may tune in and know us from Pirates, I don't have a stream deck. This is not as clean as Olaf's production. I apologize, so I'm not going to pop up the character sheet for you to see, but I will read out what's the smorgasbord of boxes for you to fill out is, and Rask can help me at any point. Your basic information, bare bones basic, includes character name, gender, race, player name, occupation, homeland, level, religion, height, weight, age, eye color. That's all fairly basic. And then we get into hair color, hair length. Okay, fine. Then we have sexuality, debauchery, marital status, birth rank, skin color, facial features, birthplace, hair thickness, hair type, birthday, vision, siblings, for some reason, most attractive feature, most repulsive feature.
Siblings is not on mine.
You don't have siblings?
Oh, wait, no, there it is. It's just in a different order.
Well, I was just kind of skipping around.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite right now is areola diameter, areola hue, nipple length.
So,
by the grace of the gods.
I will also, something we forgot to point out. For D&D players, we are all used to ability scores. We all know ability scores. F.A.T.A.L, in its quest for, and we quote, realism and accuracy, has broken up every single one of your ability scores into sub-abilities. And those sub-abilities are possible to have sub-abilities of their own. So for
I can't believe. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. I'll follow up with it. But
yeah. So for example, physique. That's easy. We don't mind that. However, physique sub-abilities. Physical fitness, strength, bodily attractiveness, and health. Physique then also breaks into sprint, damage, C and J, which I have forgotten what that actually means. We'll have to go back and look that up. Bench pressing weights, the intelligence and VOM score.
I would just like to note that there's a bench and a deadlift stat next to each other.
Yes. Oh, that's right. The C and J is for the clean and jerk stat. Yes, that's right. You have 3 different stats in your strength stats for weightlifting.
And so everybody, you have to roll for all of this, right?
Yes, you have to roll for every single one of these. Charisma.
Of whatever you choose.
Charisma is broken up into 4 different sub-abilities. Facial charisma. I have no idea what the fuck that means. Vocal charisma.
He's gone.
Oh dear. Well, if we'll pick up from where...
Wait, am I back?
Okay. That's a good question.
Yeah, for the moment.
Okay, where did I cut out?
You cut off, you said... I think I pointed out bench, DL, and you were about to explain what C and J meant.
Oh, yes. I said the C and J is the clean and jerk. So you have 3 different substats for weightlifting.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. And then I was saying that charisma is broken up into 4 different groups. Go ahead, Nikon.
So is this something that you have to roll for?
Yes, you have to roll for every single one of these.
Holy crap.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So this game is like, what do they call it? A legacy game.
Worse.
Because it's never going to end.
Worse, because we haven't even gotten into the worst bits.
Oh.
So
I wanted to follow this up. Okay, so in the mid-90s, D&D put out what we tend to sometimes call the 2.5 era. The Player's Handbook of 2nd edition got a reprint, but it was with entirely new artwork, layout, etc. They dropped the Dragon Ampersand logo and just put a regular ampersand between the dungeons and the dragons. It was meant to look edgy, and then they put out a whole bunch of supplement books about making the game more complicated. To which I say, trust me, 2nd edition AD&D was complicated enough on its own. But they decided, hey, let's split every one of the 6 ability scores in 2. The idea was to have 12 ability scores.
And if you weren't confused enough, remember, each of these is broken into at least 4 sub-abilities. Charisma is broken into 4 as well. And these are facial. I have no idea what the fuck facial charisma is. They do explain it, but it still doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. Vocal, which is the only part of this I can understand. Kinetic charisma, or how well you move. And then possibly my favorite, rhetorical charisma.
I can't help but think an editor saw this whole thing as a rhetorical question.
But here's the fun part. Rask, can you do me a favor? Can you
Okay.
look under dexterity and then tell me what that 4th dexterity score is?
Enunciation? Why is that not under vocal charisma?
Right! Why is that a dexterity?
I know why.
Why?
Because we speak with our tongues.
Well, yeah.
Well, see, you would think that. But here's the weird part. Under charisma and under rhetorical charisma governs your average speech rate. Okay? But then under dexterity, your enunciation governs not just your casting, but your maximum speech rate.
Okay, then I'm hearing this wrong because all I'm thinking is cunnilingus and fellatio and what tongues do with that. So
congratulations, you now know why it's under the dexterity stat.
That's what I was trying to get across. So because we speak with our tongues, it's a vocal dexterity, and what else do you use your tongues for besides licking ice cream?
So while you guys stay on the character sheet, I'm going to go into what is possibly one of the most egregious bits of character creation. So let me get back to my index here so that I can do that. Yes, the gender and race chapter. So, again, I'm going to read this entire thing. And if either of you feel the need to scream, please wait until I'm done. Actually, this is the only time I'm probably going to do this on stream, at least for a topic that's not inherently triggering. We need a safe word. So would you two please come up with a safe word?
Pineapple.
Okay.
Works for me.
All right. So if at any time this makes you want to punch your screen, please just say pineapple.
I can make a horrible, horrible joke, but it's also a trigger, and I don't think I should do that. So.
Also, for future reference, my safe word is arugula.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I was actually going to say rutabaga.
Okay, here we are.
Arugula is my actual safe word because, as I said to them, if I am doing this particular activity and I start ordering a fucking sandwich, something's wrong.
Okay.
Alright, so gender. Now that you have the basic scores for your abilities and sub-abilities, you must decide your character's gender, male or female. Now, honestly, that confuses me because normally what I would do gender first, would you not?
Absolutely.
Here's why they say you have to do it afterwards. Gender is a correlative factor with many things, from abilities to height and weight. For example, on average, it is obvious that males tend to be physically stronger, taller, and weigh more than females. Remember how I said this is incel neckbeard? Every time I see the word female in this book, I want to pronounce it with the most disgust that I can. Just like that, female. According to a prominent philosopher, and we're going into the footnote here, Book 9 of the Historia Animalum, I have no idea. Aristotle refers to gender differences and compares animals as well as humans. His comments are deemed relevant to the setting of F.A.T.A.L due to the prevalence of his opinion throughout the Middle Ages. So according to... Where did we just say? Aristotle. Males tend to be more spirited, savage, simple, and less cunning. Females, on the other hand, tend to be more compassionate than males, more easily moved to tears, at the same time are more jealous, more querulous, and more apt to scold and to strike. Females are, furthermore, more prone to despondency and less hopeful than males, more void of shame and self-respect.
Pineapple, what the fuck?
It just gets
Fuck!
worse.
I got to go to the bathroom. Excuse me.
I just want to know one thing. Did this man's therapist look through this book?
I don't think they had therapists.
I mean, I think you were saying that, Caden, that you wanted us to wait until you got through the. Is that what you were saying, or?
Oh no! I
What?
gave you this. I gave you the safe word to use when,
That's what
when
I
you
was going to
needed
say.
to.
Okay, yeah.
It's if you need to scream, like just primal scream, that needs to wait because it will not help if you do it in the middle of it because I am nowhere near done.
If you can hear us, Caden, you dropped again.
Okay.
Your last words were, that needs to wait because...
Because if I do it right now, if you just scream right now, the amount of bullshit that's to come will make it useless.
Okay. Okay. Let me go get a Coors Light and a Marlboro Red to get through this.
I'll finish up while you're doing that, so that way you don't.
Or maybe I'm the one who dropped.
Perhaps.
Okay, I don't. Coors Light, bleh, and smoking, bleh. So anyway, on that note.
Can you hear us now, Rask?
Ground control to Major Tom.
Okay, it appears that Rasclin has been the one that has dropped.
Okay. I don't think.
Nightkind, you can hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. You can't hear us.
Okay. Yeah, that was weird. Is
Okay.
it dropping us at random?
I don't know, but as Nightkind goes to grab a beer and a cigarette, I'm gonna finish up so that we don't have to trigger it anymore.
Yeah. Okay, carry on.
Okay, where was I? More void of shame and self-respect, more false of speech, and more deceptive. Females are also more wakeful, shrinking, and difficult to rouse to action. The philosopher goes on to note that males are more courageous and sympathetic in the way of standing by to help. Even in the case of mollusks, where the cuttlefish is struck with the trident, the male stands by to help the female, but when the male is struck, the female runs away. The philosopher's observation presented above are generalizations and do not hold true for all characters. Certainly, it is possible to find a surpassingly shameless male or a female who is less susceptible to depression than males, but these instances are the exception to the rule, assuming that the above observations are correct. Record your gender on your character sheet and consult the following table of gender modifiers to adjust your abilities and temperament.
Who in the Sam Hell wrote this shit?
Wow.
I'm only assuming that they're single. We all have our fantasies, so.
So the next paragraph I don't even have to read because it's standard incel bullshit, where he goes on to note the highest measured intelligence is of a female, though by far they tend to score lower, and that in patriarchal societies, women are to stay home, tend the home, and give birth to babies. Never goes into a matriarchal society.
If all y'all could see my face right now. Wow. Okay. Okay. So did this ever come into gameplay? Did this ever make it to a tabletop?
Presumably.
People have played this, and there are YouTube videos of people trying to play it, but by and large, nobody wants to.
So this is I have a metaphor here.
Mm-hmm.
Without going into the disturbing imagery that these incels give us,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Mechanically, this is the RPG equivalent of trying to finish a game of Monopoly.
This is the RPG equivalent of trying to finish a really slow game of Settlers of Catan.
Oh dear. And
Which is
everyone's
odd
going
that
the
you have to
longest
say it
road.
like that. It's really weird that you have to say the RPG equivalent of Settlers of Catan, because Settlers is an RPG.
I will never think poorly of character creation or
Okay.
Hero 6th Edition ever again.
So who has a pen and paper?
Pen and what? Paper?
Yes, remember
Paper.
that was in our requirements for the gaming.
Oh yeah, with the 1-inch grid. Paper.
And dice and pens.
So
and
this is
people.
This is our gender modifiers of buffs in debuff table. And the reason I was asking if you have a pen and paper is because I want someone to write this down so that my eyes aren't the only ones bleeding when you actually see this table.
Oh great, so you just want to share the eyeball bleeding. Thank you very much. There will be a Christmas card in the mail for you.
I'm sure there will be.
Okay, coming from a single female, and I would never write, because I made the joke of, whoever wrote this must be single, living in their mom's basement, blah, blah, blah. I would never, of course, this is 2024, but when this was written, weren't we still in this acceptance?
No.
We were accepting of, okay.
The original was written in 2000. Well, it was released in 2000, but was presumably written in like the late 90s.
Okay.
So, Rask, do we spoil the horrors now or later?
Write something like that. It's this. This is beyond me.
Well, like I said, I'm going to consult with Rasclin. Do we spoil the upcoming horrors now or later?
You mean calculating 20 sub-ability scores?
No, the fact that if gender is creating this much panic, do we want to spoil that gender is the least of the debuffs?
Oh god, it's the way this game handles race.
Oh.
Gender gives you a debuff. Race gives you a debuff. Religion gives you a debuff. But the biggest debuffs come from your sexuality.
Okay.
So here's our...
All right. Okay, so supposedly when this is written, and this isn't completely off topic, so where do pansexuals come in? Because pansexuals wouldn't be coming out.
They do not have pansexuals. They do not have bisexuals.
Okay. Well then, okay, let's carry on with
everything
sexuality.
in this book is the basic binary. So you are either male or female, straight or gay, alive or dead.
Okay.
So here's our modifier table. We have 3 columns. To be modified, male and female. So our first ability is physique, physical fitness. Males get a +5. Females get a -5.
Jesus Christ, for the love of all that is fucking holy. Okay.
Physique, strength. Males, +15. Females, -15.
Okay.
Every D&D player is now stabbing themselves. Physique, bodily attractiveness. Males, -3. Female, +3.
Well, that's because everybody wants to see TNA.
Exactly.
Right? Is is that a correct statement or no?
According to them, yes.
Okay.
Intelligence, language, males, -2, females, +2. Intelligence, math, males +3, females -3. I'm going to make the rest of this very simple. Basically, whatever the males get in buffs, the females get in debuffs, and vice versa. So we're just going to speed run the rest of this. Intelligence, spatials, males +3. Wisdom, drive, males +2. Wisdom, intuition, males -5. Wisdom, reflection, males -4. Temperament, sanguine, males -2. Temperate, choleric, males +2. That's right, they brought the fucking humors into this, but only 2 of them.
So this came out in 2000.
Yep.
It apparently took him 10 years to write this.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. I'm still trying to wrap. So
Yeah.
and definitely not a smooth brain, but just an above average IQ, and I do not understand what the fuck is going on. I don't. Okay. How they can do this?
Well, now we have the races.
No. Is it too late to say pineapple?
The races you can play are the Anakim, Bugbear, Black Dwarves, Brown Dwarves, White Dwarves, Dark Elves, Light Elves, Humans, Kobold, Ogre Vanilla, Cliff Ogres, Grugok Ogres, Kinderfresher Ogres, the Borby Tingarna Troll, Hill Trolls, and Subterranean Trolls.
Okay, so you rolled for your gender, and now you're rolling for your race.
Yep.
Okay.
But they also give you a percentage of the overall population for each race.
I would
How
like to
can
know.
they give you an overall percentage when it's literally a roll of the dice?
I know where this comes from.
It's astronomical.
In AD&D First and Second Edition, various races and classes had minimum ability scores. That's probably where they got this idea, I think.
Well, our most common races, according to this chart, are in order: humans, kobolds, bugbears, and subterranean trolls. At 30, 20, 15, and 10% of the population.
Oh, so they're actually giving the population of what should be in the game? Is that right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so I misspoken when I said that it's astronomical when you're trying to roll for a race when they're actually putting what they think the races should be in the game.
Our least populous races at 0.4 and then 0.3% are brown dwarfs, Anakim, and Kinderfresher ogres.
I'm like, it's not exactly decision paralysis, but that's a lot for a core book.
So, now we get to the races. Rasclin, can you do me a favor and just pick a race? Any race, I don't care.
Let's try their version of a half-angel, the Anakim.
Okay, the Anakim are the first race. So this is the Anakim page. Anakim are the offspring of fallen angels and mortal women. They are recognizable to others who often refer to Anakim as giants, since they are much taller than the typical human. Ancient terms for Anakim are the Ananukai, Inim, Nephilim, Zuzim, and Zamzumin. Compared with the humanoid races listed here, Anakim are the youngest, second only to humans. As a guideline, each gaming group should have no more than one Anakim. This race has the potential to unbalance a game, but Anakim are not a race so much as a result. It is not every day that fiends mate human women, so very few Anakim exist. Most Anakim are the result of an incubus or succubus mating with a human. These Anakim are more commonly called Cambion. Oftentimes, Cambion children show no signs of life until they are 7 years in age.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes. But again,
How did I miss this?
Yeah,
Because
fairly
they're deep.
standard. That's our bullshit. Just this is the fantasy tiefling race. Go away.
I am going to pineapple to my kitchen and grab a bit of food and a bit of refresh my drink and pray to all the gods things get more sane from here on out. I know I hope in vain.
They're not going
I
to,
know.
but
I know.
once you get back, I'm gonna have to pineapple for a second.
Okay. So pineapple in order. Be right back.
And see, just by doing this, by like taking our turn safe wording, we are actually doing more organized than anything in this book so far.
Okay, and this is literally, of course, the first time I have ever read any of this. Rasclin did tell me the game of F.A.T.A.L, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So, reading this, hearing this, is just solidifying the you've got to be fucking kidding me. And so I'm looking at how the Anakim is illustrated.
Oh, you have
But
an illustration?
I have an illustration, and
We don't. The first,
okay.
the first PDF, the first version of this, literally just has a box with artwork here.
Okay. So, real quick, looking at the illustration of the Anakim, and then it goes down to disposition, temperament, social language, blah, blah, blah. Wait. Physical description. Why am I going here? They mention nothing of the size of the illustration. There's no description of the member of the Anakim, which is I'm finding rather odd because this whole entire game is based on what it boils down to is sex.
So,
and all the different.
What does your physical description actually say?
Physical description. Let me make sure. Format of races. I want to make sure that Physical description. Anakim average a towering 8 feet in height for males. Very specific, 7'6" for females, and are appropriately heavier than humans as well. Often, they are considered giants. Well, duh, 8 feet. Also, they are likely to live much longer, provided they do not meet a...
I love that line. Provided they don't meet a premature death. Well, no shit. If you don't meet a premature death, you're likely to live?
Holy crap. Okay, speaking of smooth brain, these writers. Okay, because of their demonic heritage, Anakim characters have 1d10 traits, which are determined by rolling 1d100 on the table that begins on the next page.
So ours is a little different. We don't have these specific feet for females. We just have 7 feet. And then they're referred to as fiendish.
I'm glad they put that classifier in there for demons. So actually, reading this, and thank you guys for inviting me again because last week was a shit show. Oh,
I did forget to ask how your week was, but go ahead.
I hid my head underneath my blankets and I hoped that last week would go away. Last week was actually fun. I did have fun, so thank you. Thank you for inviting me back.
I mean,
Reading
we
this,
invited you a permanent place, so if you want to become a permanent part, you're more than welcome.
oh honey, be careful what you ask for. So, reading this, opening my eyes to what has happened in the gaming world, they just took this beyond 11. They took this way beyond 11. And why did they have to go there? Did they want to be avant-garde? The first of their kind? Why? Do we have this answer?
So, we do actually have the FAQ and such from the website. I was
I'm
going
back.
to add that into the full-length video. They don't have a specific answer as to why in the 7 fucking hells you would ever create this, but it becomes fairly clear as you read through the book that the answer is that, like all neckbeards and incels, they just really wanted to be edgy.
Okay, the crazy thing is that I understand that. But in my eyes, they took it off the edge. They are hurtling ass over tea kettle down this infinite chasm, and nobody. Well, it had to end. I mean, it's not going any further with this. 900 and how many pages of this book?
901 for ours.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, thank you, Edgelord. You're great. Crazy.
So
This is
before I take my pineapple break, I do want to read through the sub-ability modifiers for the
okay.
Anakim,
Okay.
which gives them a plus 100 to strength, minus 30 to hand-eye coordination, minus 25 to agility, minus 20 to reaction speed, plus 5 language, plus 5 math, plus 5 analytic, plus 5 spatial, negative 5 drive, negative 10 intuition, negative 20 common sense, and negative 10 reflection.
Plus,
Yeah, he dropped off
Plus-
at +5 analytic.
okay. Yeah. With the
Oh, the
tech
plus 5 analytic?
catastrophe
So plus 5 analytic, plus 5 spatial.
that happened all over the
That
world.
is an excellent point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me know when I'm back.
Okay. You're back.
You seem to be back, yeah.
Okay, what's an excellent point?
You were at Rasclin. Where was he at?
+5 analytical.
There you go.
Okay. So yeah, plus 5 analytic, plus 5 spatial, negative 5 drive, negative 10 intuition, negative 20 common sense, and negative 10 reflection.
Pineapple. Oh
So
my god. Okay.
Here's what we haven't told you yet.
Uh-oh.
It is a good thing that you do have to roll a D1000 for these stats, because in Fatal, if any stat at all reaches 0, you instantly die.
After rolling all of that and then you roll a 0?
No. If any of your stats reaches 0 for any reason.
Oh, okay.
So if by debuff or racial modifier or any of that, if you reach 0 on any stat, even facial attractiveness, you fucking die.
Well, okay, yeah, I'm a girl, but explain this to me like I'm 5.
So the way I was joking about it with Argos when I was going over it with him last week,
Uh-huh.
I can only imagine it's like if facial attractiveness reaches 0, you become so ugly that everybody who observes you goes into a fucking panic and just wants to maul you to get you out of their eyes. And it's like, well, what if your charisma reaches 0? It's like, well, if your charisma reaches 0, you just say the wrong thing to the wrong person and they just end up beating the shit out of you. I was like, other than that, when we get into the like really specifics, like your areola diameter or any of that, when that reaches 0, I have no idea why the fuck you would die, but apparently you do.
I don't like how your titties look, so I'm just going to chew them off until you bleed out.
Maybe it's if your areolas reaches 0, your nipples are actually turning into black holes, and they're just inverting in on themselves.
Gravity well.
I think that's the plot of their next module if they ever revive this game.
Rasclin, shut up.
I don't think they can revive this game. I think if these guys ever came out of hiding and were like, hey, we're going to make a F.A.T.A.L 2, everyone's like, if you make a F.A.T.A.L 2, we will find you.
Right. Rasclin, they're not going to make it. They're not going to do this again. So yeah, don't put that energy out there.
All right, so you two have fun. I will be back in a moment.
Okay.
Every so often, I just want to see a train wreck. This is that train wreck.
God, well, okay. Yeah, you can't take your eyes off of it, but here we are. I was trying to... Yeah, I can't keep up with my version. So what I'm doing is like scrolling through all of the races. And... holy crap, these guys... You know, I'm not gonna kink shame. That's just not right. But holy shite. Okay.
Yeah, it's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should I explain some of the graphics that I'm seeing? Or
sure, because what I'm seeing are grainy, not quite photos.
Then you should stick with that. Okay, so there is evidently... Okay, there's the den. It appears that there's demons in the background and all the ears balancing. Okay, we all have our, vision of women, but how these women stand up, I don't know. And there is a incredibly... It's a really good detailed shot of the ass end of a woman. Okay, cool. That's cool. Bondage in not good form. Hey, come on, you guys. It's more... How do I put it? Excuse me, the dogs are barking. It's more for pain than pleasure.
Right.
There is... The dogs are barking. Can you hear the dogs barking?
I can hear the dogs barking.
Hey! Sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm yelling at the dogs. I'm sorry. So let's talk about the ogre that is roasting a human being over a spit with all the skulls on fire. The ogre beating the shit out of a human. Shall I go on?
Go on. Let's see this train wreck to the end.
Okay. The ogres that are eating what is just apparent. Well, no, it's a woman. They allude to a woman, but they're not eating her in a good way. It's cannibalism. Ogres destroying humans by poking their eyeballs out and then eating them. This is not Then it goes into gender, burning humans at the stake. Then it goes into what Caden was talking about, rolling for body mass index, etc. Body part proportion, hair length, eye color, etc. So, Rasclin, you were here when I was talking about, you have to roll for everything.
Right?
You're never going to start this game.
Exactly.
So is that the game? It's just
I begin to wonder. I have a number generator set up, but
shit. Hang on, just hang on a minute, please.
right.
Ouch. Ow. You guys, take it outside. Come on.
For those of you tuning in, we are weeping for humanity, for we have read the unholy text, and this one is not one I wrote. Ah.
I apologize. The dogs were being very loud, and they
Right.
wanted to play. So anyway, yeah. So apparently there is no end game, and that's what I meant by a legacy game, is that it just keeps going and going.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, there used to be jokes in the 90s, I remember, about dying during character creation, and that turned out to actually be a thing in certain games. Hello, Kobolds Ate My Baby. But yeah, it's just like, who had fun with this? They did have a computer program at the time. I think they took for granted how necessary it was.
I'm back, by the way.
Okay.
So I was monitoring the stream. I found it hilarious that every time you started trying to describe the depravity, the dogs would just go apeshit. Dogs can sense evil.
Well, Caden, you know that I do in-home dog boarding.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I can't hear you. You may not be able to hear me.
We can hear you just fine.
Okay. Nightgame, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when Caden was saying that, all the dogs are going bananas, well, they're not my dogs, so evidently they understand a little bit more than maybe they should.
Okay, so I think that we have suffered enough through just describing the character creation. I think it's time we actually tried to create a character.
Oh, dear Lord. Why?
Okay, I have a character generator set up, but do we actually want to do this right now? After what we have beholden?
Where else are we going to do it? Do you want to try to do it in the pre-recorded video?
That will truncate.
Yeah, part 2.
I mean, I would like to... We were talking about maybe a quick go-through of a proper systems way of character creation. I could run us through that with no prep time.
I think anybody who's familiar with any other game could probably come up... You could pull out of your ass an easier and more streamlined character creation than this.
Yes.
By the way, I do notice, I don't know if it is in Nightkind's version, but we did skip over a one of our first big problematics. For you, Rask, it should be on page 34, under Intelligence.
There, but for the grace of the God... Oh, for fuck's sake!
Okay. Okay, my 34 is trolls. So,
My 34 should be, because that... It's a hair's breadth from invoking Rule 34.
Okay, I was just gonna say, is this Rule 34 right here?
No. So remember how I said this came out in 2000?
Yes.
So me and Rask had our first stream where we were talking about how while we were growing up, there were different terms that we would use, not because they were acceptable at the time, but just because that's the term everybody used. So, for example, I was saying in the 90s, we weren't using it as a slur, but, when we found something stupid or, what is the word I want? Aggravating? We would just say, oh, that's gay.
Okay.
We didn't mean it as a slur. That's just what it was. This,
Right.
on the other hand, on R34, under intelligence, there is the heading retard strength.
Okay.
Yes. I'm beginning to remember that we should have put a lot of trigger warnings before this video. We'll take care of that on the pre-record.
I have to say, in a post-truth world, I have to say one unfortunate thing. Thank all the gods that the 2004 version was him dialing it back.
We're rescue dogs.
That is the one thing I will give this game, is that the 2004 version apparently did dial everything back.
He didn't double down and make things worse.
I can't pull up my my copy of From Another Time, Another Land right now because
I can
download it into an EPUB file, and I don't have an EPUB reader right now.
But yeah, I have them both here, and they are.
Yeah, because now I'm curious, what does it have in the From Another Time version under intelligence?
Let's ask Nightkind when she gets back.
Okay, ask Nightkind what?
Well, we were saying, what does the From Another Time, Another Land version have under the intelligence heading, or the intelligence chapter?
Oh dear. I would have to scroll for a minute because right now I'm just in. Let me go back and find the chapters.
For us, it was page 34.
That wasn't okay. That's not on my page 34 because it's all trolls, and I can tell you the intelligence of trolls. Yeah, my chapter 1 is race and gender. And I'm sorry, what did you have me looking for?
Intelligence.
Race and gender, body, abilities, disposition, mind, sociality, occupation, skills, conducting the game. Conducting the game. It never happens. I do not have an intelligence chapter.
Let me look that up. Maybe it's under ability scores? Let me look at our chapter listing. Table of contents. Abilities, gender and race, body, disposition, mind. So I'm going to say it's probably under mind.
It does not have an intelligence chapter.
Oh no, mind starts at
Yeah, it should be in chapter 1, ability scores.
Yeah, because mine starts on page 116.
Yeah, my chapter 1 is race and gender. Down.
3 is abilities? Okay, yeah. For us, chapter 1 is abilities.
Okay.
And chapter 2 is gender and race.
Okay. 65. 67. Chapter 3, abilities. So you have 10D100, physique, body attractiveness. Yeah, charisma, dexterity, intelligence. Okay. And you were looking for intelligence.
What's the header under intelligence, though? Because for us, it is, as Caden said, the...
Oh, hold on. Let me find that page. Because it's not under abilities either. Okay, so it's 34 for us. So It's Chapter 1 abilities.
Facial.
Okay, sorry about that. I dropped.
And then it has some Latin.
So for us, it comes right after the Wisdom Reflection chart, and then skill modifiers per overall ability, and then intelligence.
And yeah,
Okay. I have a physique chart, probability of sub-ability score. Wow, that's deep. Yeah, I mean, obviously, mine is not the same as yours, so I do finally get to intelligence, but it's one paragraph.
well, it's not a very intelligent book.
It's not.
We too get only one paragraph, and then two giant frames for artwork here, placeholders, and then it got to hard R word followed by strength.
uh,
Yeah.
I like how mine opens up that says, fairly abstract. Intelligence is a character's mental precision. I can't say that word.
Predisposition?
Precision. No. Precision.
Oh, precision.
Precision. Teeth. So, okay, and it follows with as well as capability and capacity to learn new things. So if you have to describe the word intelligence, that's not intelligent. Am I wrong? Am I saying that right?
No, I think people should be able to figure some things out through context and just.
See, like, I want to read the paragraph, but I don't know how to read it without using the word.
The word on intelligence?
Yeah.
Okay, I will read this because I'm looking at this, and in my version, as long as I don't go to the next section.
Oh, no,
Okay.
no. I meant that one, the specific slur strength. Like,
Okay.
I want to read that paragraph to explain it, but I don't know how to without using the word.
I will do this. I've got a way. If a character's intelligence is 70 or lower, then the character is technically hard R word. Many MMs will simply tell the player to re-roll the score, all abilities, or some may demand that the character is played despite the low score. If your character is redacted, consult your MM. In any case, any character that is redacted must roll percentile dice to make a check to see if they have redacted strength. Next, consider 3 times the difference between the character's redacted intelligence and 70 to be the percentile chance of redacted strength.
So their formula being 71 intelligence times 3 equals percentage of this buff happening.
I can't believe this made it to print.
They printed it themselves. So F.A.T.A.L Games is them. They workshopped this, they printed this, they published this all themselves.
All right. Okay.
It is a monumental achievement of stupidity.
Well, as I'm continuing to read the paragraph under intelligence, it's okay.
It's mind-bogglingly what? That's what we call it. It's mind-bogglingly what? There's no other word to describe it.
You can't.
Okay.
There is zero adjective on how to explain this.
So like I said, Rask, can you go ahead and choose a race for us?
Other than the Anakin.
Do you want to be an Anakim?
Does it involve a separate version of character creation? I feel I should ask.
No. Just I was gonna run through the character creation, but I just need to know which race to go to the side.
Let's go with the Anakim.
Okay, so we'll go on to the Anakim. So what is our first step in character creation?
Rolling the 20 sub-scores. Each one will have a result between 1 and 999. I have set up a random number adjuster, or generator, to generate all 20 scores.
Okay, you go ahead and do that.
May the gods have mercy on my soul.
Not if you continue with this. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. I'll play. I got my
just
Kevlar
remember,
suit on.
once you get your scores, you have to do your ability modifiers. So let me know when you need an ability modifier.
Okay.
So what are you rolling first? Strength?
I was going to assume I would just roll 20 scores and assign where we will, but on the other hand, I think rolling randomly is the way to do it and just going line item but down the list.
Yeah, let's just go down the list like they would probably intend us to do.
Okay.
So remember that for every sub-ability under strength, you have to add 100.
That's why they included a whole entire page on math.
I have our 20 numbers.
Okay.
Do you want me to paste them to you, or do you want me to read them off on the air?
You know what? Let me see if I can open up another copy of this so that I can get a character sheet. Because there is no way I'm going to remember all this.
All y'all figure that out. I need a bubble water. So it's my pineapple time. So excuse me for a minute.
This is our new in-joke.
What?
Pineapple.
The pineapple? Yeah.
Yeah, the pineapple.
No, you know what? Somebody has to pull up a character sheet here.
Okay, hold on.
So when Nightkind
I'm
comes
going to look
back,
at Mr. Dawn's page. He probably has it. Mr. Gaughan's character creation sheets. He's got them for a lot of things. My God.
I mean,
He doesn't have them for this.
You know what? I have a notebook.
Okay.
So you have the numbers. So those are in a separate screen,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I have them in a tab.
Okay, cool. So just go ahead and skip back to character sheet and just remind me of what our sub-ability scores are. So we're going to start with strength.
Yeah, let me go over there. Okay. In physical fitness.
All right, so what are our 4 sub-scores?
152.
Hold on. List me off the 4 sub-abilities first.
Physical fitness, strength, bodily attractiveness, and health.
Okay, so we have physical fitness, strength. I love how strength is a strength ability modifier.
Right?
What did I miss?
Bodily attractiveness is the 3rd one, and then health.
You haven't missed much.
Okay.
Yes, bodily attractiveness, then health. Ready for our numbers?
Hold on. Health. I'm gonna put Rasclin here so I know who's who. And you are playing a Anakim. And then we need to put plus 100 to each roll. Alright, so physical fitness is
152.
Alright, so that's actually... Is that 52 or 252?
152.
Okay, so that's with the plus 100 modifier? Alright, strength.
I'm really hoping neither of us has dropped.
I I didn't.
I think I
I
did.
suspect one of us has dropped.
Hello?
Rasclin?
Hello?
No?
Hello?
Nobody here? Except the dogs. Uh-oh.
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Okay, Rasclin just sent me a bunch of numbers, and I number spread in case I dropped long string of numbers. I do not know what that means.
Okay, I heard barking, so I'm back.
Am I back?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay!
So,
Okay, so the
what was that
152.
number spread, Rasclin?
That number spread is the 20 ability score rolls I made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the 152, is that with or without your modifier?
That is without. All of these are without modifiers.
Okay, so we're just gonna write these straight down, and so you just went straight down the line, right? So
Yes.
strength would be the 191.
Yes.
Okay, so with modifiers, it's actually 252, 291, 280. Holy shit! You've died in fucking hell.
Ubar.
All right, so what is the
You know when they
next-
say that they don't show any life for the first 7 years? Now I believe it.
Yeah. All right. So what's our next category?
Next category is charisma. Let us go down our list. Facial. Vocal.
Kinetic and rhetorical, correct?
Yes.
All right. And so what is our first charisma score?
122.
All right. So let me go ahead and make sure we don't have a modifier on charisma. We do not. Okay. So 122, 166,
No.
92, 25. Okay, and next category.
Dexterity.
Okay, DEX. And our subcategories.
Hand-eye coordination.
We're just gonna put hand-eye next.
Agility.
Mm-hmm.
Reaction speed. I would just say reaction.
And
Enunciation.
please spell that because I cannot.
Enunciation. He even said it wrong.
Enunciation, assuming they spelled it correctly.
I always said enunciation, but yeah, okay. So, for this, you do have a modifier. You have a -30 in hand-eye coordination. And a -25 in agility. And a -20 in reaction speed. So, hand-eye base is 25, 170, 58, 84, and 184. So with these modifiers, we are actually at hand-eye -30, so that's 140. Agility -25, so that's...
So I probably missed.
I definitely think we can blame this on CrowdStrike, yeah, because if it keeps dropping us one randomly after another.
It was pretty intense what they were talking about with CloudStrike. So, I think I missed what gender was chosen for these.
I don't think we did, actually.
Okay.
We're still going down the list of the 20 sub-abilities.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I've got 10 in health. That's not going to be good. I have a 4 in intuition on a scale of 1 to 999. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone could say, could you be...
Apologies. I had to take out your modifiers for your hand-eye agility and reaction speed. So, next up,
Intelligence.
okay.
Language. Math. Analytic. And spatial.
Spatial and alright, so 184, so we are starting at 140.
Sounds right.
48 math. 138 analytic. 97 spatial. Okay, so the ability modifiers for these. +5 language. +5 math. I'm stupid with math, so I'm using a calculator for this. Please forgive me.
Well, that was what they said to get. Calculator. This is what you need. So, you are okay. All of this dry air is just really taking a toll on my tattoos. This is bullshit.
Okay, yeah, so this is base. We haven't picked a gender yet, because that's even more buffs and debuffs that we gotta fuck around with, so... We're gonna start with a base first. Okay, after intelligence is...
But according to the game, you don't roll for a gender until later on. Until after all of this.
Okay, what is after, is Rask dropped again?
No, I'm here.
Okay, so what's after intelligence?
Wisdom.
Okay, and wisdom sub-scores are...
Drive. Intuition. Common sense. Reflection.
Alright.
Given I have an intuition of 4 and a reflection of 172 unmodified, I expect I'm playing demonic Jack Handy.
Alright, so with modifiers, what do we actually have? Drive -5. Intuition. Holy shit, you are not even playing that. You are dead.
Woot!
Your intuition is -14.
Oh, endgame. It's not a legacy.
Damn.
Okay, endgame.
I am released from my torment!
At least it wasn't on attractiveness or something like that. So,
So continuing,
Live fast, die young, leave a beautiful corpse.
he has 57 common sense and 162 reflection. Now, I'm not going to kill you off just yet because we do have to do your gender modifiers now.
Oh boy.
So you have
I
a
assume I'm playing a male.
okay. Hold on. So you have a base life points. So we're just going to put BLP of 27. Okay. So for males. Oh Jesus! So I'm gonna stick to the Anakim page. Could you please go up to our gender modifiers and read me off what I need to modify for males?
Oh dear.
For Anakim?
No, just for male gender.
Oh. My version is so not yours that personally it's going to take me a while, but obviously that's not according to you guys. So.
I've found the table of modifiers.
Okay,
Okay.
so what do I need to modify?
Alright.
To be modified.
Yeah.
I
Oh
believe
boy.
the first one is intelligence, or no, strength.
So physical fitness is a +5.
Okay, so instead of 252, you are now at
257.
257. Yep.
Add 15 to strength.
Alright, so you were at 291.
Okay. I have +30 for strength for a male.
Wow, so they even skewed that even worse.
Right. So, okay.
Bodily
We'll just
attractiveness,
stick,
Testing.
I
Did
believe,
everyone
is...
drop
yeah,
in
we'll
me
just stick
again?
with one, and we'll just
Or
stick
did
with
I drop?
Rasclin because this is just going to throw everything off. So, yeah.
Okay, Rask, can you hear again?
He dropped.
Yeah, but we can still hear him. That's the weird part.
Okay.
So we just keep we keep screaming at him.
Or I can just throw everything into the fire and, give
You said
the stats.
plus 30?
+30 for my gender modifiers.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
that's crazy.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a note. So this is I'm gonna make a note that this is the fantasy adventure version,
Okay.
and then possibly when we get off stream, I'll go ahead and do the From Another Time Another Land version.
Okay.
Rasclin. If I use his real name, will it work?
Oh, you're right. That'll get his attention. So, okay, do you want to hear what I have for my version, or is that just going to be too much?
Oh no, go ahead. I just won't write it down.
Okay, so physique, obviously body attractiveness is -3
For men.
for men.
Okay.
Charisma, facial charisma, -3. Intelligence, subhead language, -2. So they're basically, wait a minute, I thought they said that women were, never mind. Intelligence in math, +3. Spatial intelligence, +3. Wisdom drive, +2. Wisdom intuition, -5. Reflection, -4. Sanguine temperament, -2. And does it say choleric?
Choleric, yes.
Holy, what the? Okay, +2.
Yeah, they brought in 2 of the 4 humors.
But only 2.
Okay, so what we were saying is, what is your modifier for strength for men?
+15 for men.
+15.
Okay, so we did this strength. Bodily attractiveness was what?
-3.
-3.
Okay. Same.
So that is actually 280. So that would be 277.
77.
Okay, and then health. Do we have a modifier for that?
Do not appear to.
Okay, so next
Yeah.
up would be charisma.
No modifier for gender.
Okay. Any for dexterity?
Done.
Okay, so intelligence.
Language -2.
Okay, so you are now at 143.
Math +3.
So you are now at 56.
Spatial +3.
105. So now we are on to wisdom.
Drive +2.
143.
Intuition -5.
Holy shit, you are at -19.
Dead. End game.
Yes. Wisdom reflection -4.
So instead of 162, you are now at 158. Okay, so let's make sure that that's actually accurate. Because I do want to make sure that this is, if any stat reaches 0, you die. So let me find my table of contents again.
I wonder why strength for the males went from +30 down to +15.
Oh no,
But
the other way
everything else
around.
is okay.
The other way around. We're using version 1, you're using version 2. So it went from
Right, right.
+15 to
Okay.
+30.
Yeah, but everything else that you guys have is the same with me. My version is the same as yours, except for strength.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know either. I'm just a girl. I'm so pretty. So, Caden, you're mathing right now?
No, right now I'm just trying to look up to make
Or
sure
the chapter?
that the sub-ability skills, that if any of these go to 0, they don't just flat out die. So actually these don't have any rules so far about a negative score.
I apparently dropped and now come back.
Hello.
But weren't you guys talking about that if any roll, of
Like
course,
everything I've read so
what
far
we're
seems
what
to
I'm looking
suggest
at
that.
here, that if you reach 0, then you're dead. If anything that you reach is 0. Did I misunderstand?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what the rules always seem to imply. I'm looking for a specific rule to see if that is a thing, and I don't see one.
So
But
they could add modifier after modifier after modifier, but when it comes to the rules, it's black and white.
well, there's the weird part is like they say that it creates a 1 to whatever spread, but like the modifiers obviously allow you to go into zeros and beyond.
But that's not the rules of the game. Dem's not the rules.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here's our specific charts. So there's physique, we need wisdom. Because did I forget to mention
I
that...
need another Coors Light and a Marlboro.
Did I forget
How
to
do you
mention
say
that in
that?
addition to gender and racial
I can't even
Sure.
joke about it if I can't
modifiers...
even say the word. Here,
Okay.
camels. I'll say camels because I can. That's
Okay.
easy.
Are we back? Can you hear me?
Is precision.
Hello?
Well, I also say iron because I can't my words.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hello.
so I found the specific charts. I forgot a rule. In addition to gender and racial modifiers, you also have a base ability modifier from the base number.
So does this mean we have some sort of core minimum?
Yes.
I was thinking a cheat.
So I gotta get to wisdom to find this. Ah, here we go. Wisdom, intuition. So if you have a if you have a wisdom sub-ability score of 1 to 24, you have a skill modifier of -90.
Well, okay, what?
So I hate to tell you, that means that your current intuition is -109.
Anyone there?
No, we're not here.
Hello?
Can't hear us. Can't hear us. No.
I hear you now.
Okay. It's got to be this cloud strike thing. That's the only thing
My
I can think of.
new intuition is -109.
I'm gonna check that. I want to double check the math. But that should be correct, yes. Okay, so we have -19 minus 90. Yes, -109. You have so little intuition. You probably just walked off a cliff.
Right. Just call it good. Bye.
Breathing
Pack
is
your desk.
intuitive. Can we introduce you to this Anakim?
Wow, just wow.
Okay,
So-
but like I was saying, is that so far I don't see any rules that say if you have a negative that there's anything to do with this.
Well.
Okay, so it's because we fucked up.
What's wrong?
Alternative method, rolling abilities. So we weren't even using the correct method. The method described in the beginning of the chapter for determining abilities should be the standard method for several reasons. First, the average sub-ability score rolled should be 100, which is the norm of all human populations. Additional modifiers, such as gender and race, are applied in the following chapter. This method, 4d100 divided by 2 minus 1, more accurately reflects nature and therefore adds a sense of realism to the game. Exceptionally high and low ability scores still occur with this method, though there is an appropriate measure of central tendency, such that the mean, median, and mode should usually be 100. Due to this method, however, the resultant sub-ability scores are less likely to allow the character to meet the prerequisites of magic-using occupations, for instance, than warriors. Indeed, some players become greatly disheartened when they observe that some occupations are more rare than others, not necessarily due to differences in appeal, but ability. While objectivity should always be sought, this is only a game. Blah, 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 blah.
Huh.
Solely at the MM's discretion. A player may be permitted to roll 5d100,
Oh my
drop the
god.
lowest result, divide the sum by 2, and subtract 1 from the total to determine a sub-ability. The alternate method should produce an average sub-ability of 115. No more than 4 attempts, meaning 4 sub-abilities or retries, may be made with this method. For each roll with this advantage method, another roll must be made, one that will balance the character. Roll percentile dice and consult table 5-4 random mental illnesses.
Wow. Any other triggers that they can hit on? Wow.
Yes, there are.
Okay,
We're
so
hiding them in the closet.
okay.
So would you like to try to re-roll your intuition with a was that 5d100?
Huh.
This goes way, 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 I'm going to say into detail. I don't want to say depth because what I'm reading right now is I don't want to use that word. But, wow. Incredibly, incredibly detailed.
Did we mention they also have the point that if you stop exercising at any point in the game, you start gaining weight?
I saw the body. Where did I see that? I should not be reading ahead. That's all I'm going to say is that I should not be reading ahead. This is insane. Ooh, allergies, intoxication, and disease. God. I like how they include some loose Latin in here. Intoxication by marijuana, intoxication by alcohol, anthrax, bubonic plague, cancer, common cold, chicken pox. Okay, I'm done. This game, holy moly! I'm going to be 103 if I ever get through this. This is intense. Apparently, I'm the only one that thinks so. Hello.
Oh no!
Okay.
I'm here. I am trying to find any, even in any game system, what happens if a stat goes negative.
Okay.
And so far, like it's generally accepted that if a physical stat goes below 0, you're dead. This is not a physical stat.
Okay, I'm going to really age myself right here, but when I was playing D&D, there was no computer telling us what to do. We had the little newspaper book with the newsprint paper book. I think that we didn't have. This is all new to me, is what I'm basically saying. This is so incredibly new, and yeah, I'm just not. Especially with this game, I do not understand. There, I said it. I'm not getting it.
So
Wow.
you know what? Here's what we're gonna do: is if it says every stat is supposed to be an average of 100, then what I'm gonna do is we're gonna change your intuition to 104, and then we have to take away 10, and then take away another 5. So your new scores are going to be 104 4 minus 10 minus 5. $89.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so an 89 intuition, what does that get us? Gotta go back up to these damn charts. Alright, an 89 intuition gets us minus 12. So your new intuition would be 77.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is just scratching the surface?
Yes.
And it took an hour to scratch the surface?
We're still not done. Because now
Oh my.
he has to roll the other stats. We've got all your substats done, correct?
So if you reach 0 on any stat, they went back on the rules and said that's not necessarily true. Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, I think you are.
So
Well, what
that
I'm
goes.
saying is that I don't see any specific rule for if a stat reaches negatives, but it's generally accepted among tabletops that if a physical stat reaches 0, you're dead.
Okay.
But I have not seen a rule so far like what happens if a wisdom stat goes down to 0. So we're just going to ignore it and fudge some numbers because this is already getting ridiculous.
Okay. I understood that in this game, if you rolled any negative, then you were dead. And that's when I called it. Well, then it wasn't a legacy game because that's it. You're done.
Yeah, you can die in character creation. So what is after your sub abilities on your character sheet, Rask?
He's gone. He split.
Well, I'm still here.
Okay.
I think we are getting late. We might want to call it soon. Caden, if you can hear us.
Oh, I can hear you. I was about to say, he sounded like he was falling asleep there a minute ago.
Yeah, it has been a long day, and I did wake up kind of early.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one that we showed how horrendous it is. We don't need to go any further.
I think I can agree with this.
Okay. So,
Nykind, would you agree?
Yeah, it's been a minute. So
Yeah.
yeah, what was it? 2.5 hours?
yeah.
About that,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you everyone who did join us. Thank you for listening to our probably still really drop heavy, but
Yeah.
hopefully somewhat entertaining trek through
We're
the
blame-
mental hell that is Fatal.
I'm blaming you, CrowdStrike.
Yeah, absolutely. Seriously.
And I'm just going to leave that as my generic sign off tonight. Is just thank you for joining us. Hope you had fun. Please join us next week. Once again, if you want to join and just talk, hang out with us, give us your thoughts, go ahead, click down below, join the Discord. If you'd like to support us so that we can get those things like a completely uncensored pre-recorded video, please join the Patreon. We are not obligating you. You don't have any reason to if you don't want to. It's just a nice thing if you feel like it. And then, yes, go ahead with your outros, guys.
Tomorrow night.
Again,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
here we go.
Fight to
Thanks,
the
bye.
death.
Tomorrow night, Over the Edge on Community Radio for East Central Illinois, 90.1 FM, WEFT Champaign. Streaming online at new.weft.org/listen.
Nightkind, do you want to try that again? Okay, I guess not. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Night all.